Welcome to another video of Fahad M. Gohar series of financial indicators. This is going to be the video number 4 related to the subject of GDP and growth. GDP is equal consumer spending plus business investment plus government spending plus, of course, the net export minus import. So now let's discuss what it does. The GDP actually measures the total value of all goods and services produced within a country over a specific period of time, usually a year or a quarter. DGB is often GDP, which stands for gross domestic product, is often used to compare the economic performance of different countries or to track the growth of an economy over a period of time. Now we want to know where this will be utilized, this GDP. First one, we can use it as a way to evaluate economic growth. If GDP is increasing, then the economy is growing, which usually means more jobs and higher income. Second way, we can use it as a way to compare between economies worldwide. Of course, GDP helps in comparing the size of different economies. For example, the GDP of the United States is much larger than of a small country like Switzerland, indicating a larger economy. Also, we can use it to measure per capita GDP, which means we can take that GDP divided by the population, which give us a rough estimate idea of the average income per person in that particular country. Now, let's see how that GDP is calculated. There are 3 ways. Production approach, which here we sum up all the values of all goods and services produced in the economy, and subtract, of course, the cost of all these inputs of goods. Second approach will be expenditure approach. This is the most common method, of course. It calculates GDP by adding up all the spendings in the economy, including consumer spendings on goods and services, business investment in things like machinery, building, etc., expansion, government spending like spending on public services, building bridges, schools, free healthcare, etc., and the net export, which is export minus import. And the third approach, they call it income approach. Here it adds up all the income earned in the economy, including wages, profits, and taxes, of course, minus subsidies by government or any other entity. So now let's look at the levels, and how that, GDP, it's evaluated. Let's put the charts and see those levels. We'll have first, the 0 level, and then we'll have the between 2 and 3% level, and then we'll have the 7 to 8% level. So anything that's below 0, consider a negative GDP growth. If the GDP is shrinking, it can be a sign of an economic trouble. 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth usually means the economy is in recession. If it is between 2 and 3%, generally a GDP growth rate between 2 and 3% per year is considered healthy for a developed country. It suggests that the economy is growing steadily without overheating. Anything above 7 to 8%, consider very high GDP growth. Extremely high GDP growth, above 7 to 8% might sound good, but it can also sometimes indicate an economy that is overheating, which will lead to inflation or unsustainable growth. And that's very dangerous, where then the central banks or the Federal Reserve will interfere, of course, and try to cool down the economy by, do what? They will increase the interest rate, so people will borrow less money will be in the economy, less inflation will happen, because now people have less money to spend. So to cool down, the inflation from going, beyond control. So I hope those levels give you an idea about what's going on and how you can calculate or understand when you see the word GDP, you can see what it means exactly and at what level it is. Is it in the negative, or is it positive, or is considered very high? So now let's look at this chart here over time between the year 2015 2023. You can see here healthy growth between 2 to 3% healthy growth, the green line. The red line, of course, is the threshold for recession. You can see, the GDP was always above the 0%, and then it drops on 2020, become a recession, and then backs up again, and now we are in the okay zone, so that's it. So this way, I hope, this small introduction give you a clue or an idea. When you look at the number of GDP, you can right away figure out, is it good or is it bad? Good luck, and I'll see you in next video.